This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
This table is really tilted.
Excuse me? Am I gonna get a chance to speak?
Maybe I should take that back.
Denied. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Take a giant step for mankind.
Welcome to the Tilted Table with your hosts, Sean and Joe.
Folks, welcome to another episode of the Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I'm Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And today is another just start
freestyling.
Yeah, just start talking. And again, I don't know how many times I'm going to keep announcing that it's freestyle because I don't think we plan anymore.
No, it's just like battle rapping on the corner.
Oh shit, this is like battle. This is battle podcasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you've got that. It's on Thursday nights at the church parking lot behind your fence, right?
Right. Yeah. And you know, when you talk about the podcast about nothing and being the fountain of misinformation, that's a battle you don't want to get into because we'll win every time.
Facts. All right. So what I'm excited about, you played a show 2 weeks ago.
I did. Yeah.
How'd it go?
Well, so the show.
And started with, were you wearing your zebra print pants? That's how it needs to start.
No, I was wearing a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. I didn't dress up for this occasion. And even if I did, I wouldn't wear zebra print pants. That was never my style. I was always more... You want to know what I looked like when I was in a band? Just go look at any pictures of Iron Maiden in the 80s. Basically high tops, jeans, and some ripped up shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about as rock and roll as my image was. I was never into leather pants or any of that stuff.
I figured you probably rocked like the Austin Powers purple crushed velvet suit.
No, that could be later years. It's like Elvis when he went from, good looking young Elvis to fat bloated jumpsuit Elvis. That's
do you want me to get you a bejeweled jumpsuit for your next show?
Shit, no way.
You could be like Guar.
You know what? Kudos to bands that do things like that. I have never been much of a person that wanted to focus too much on that. And not that I wasn't worried about image. I mean, I had long hair and I wore the typical kind of heavy metal uniform. I mean, I was wearing jeans and high tops and ripped up shirts and things like that. But I think the heavy thought into image, and you go back into the 80s with bands like Poison and the drooped up hair and the makeup and the leather and the neon and all that was too much work. I don't want to do all that.
Right.
Yeah. So kudos to people like Guar that these bands come out and they put on it's theater.
Yes.
And that was way beyond what I was interested in doing. So yeah, that was never my shtick. And even now if I play a show, it really largely depends on the weather. I was wearing a tank top because it was 100 degrees outside. I'm not going to put on some clothes. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to be sweating my balls off.
So is it a big venue?
It's the Fulton 55. It holds probably a few hundred people.
Okay.
Oh no, I know. I remember seeing the capacity sign when I was loading up my equipment. I think it's 580 people was the capacity.
Cool.
And I think we had I'd say about 300 people.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. It was not a benefit show. Sorry, it was a memorial show for a friend, Mike Keeney Sr., who's a big time musician in this town, been playing for a million years, and he passed away last year. And it's a big family thing, so everybody's related, and just a bunch of bands getting on stage and playing in his honor, and had a whole kind of prayer memorial and almost like a church service before the show started. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So essentially what happened was, and it was a totally fucked night because I was just playing rhythm guitar. I wasn't doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Mm-hmm. And what it was is that Mike Keeney Sr. had this thing that at the end of the show, he would always end his set with Freebird, and he would bring everybody on stage, and it didn't matter who you were. If there was an ounce of space, he would drag you up on stage, and whether you were singing backup or here's an instrument and just start playing. And that's one thing I really loved about him, because musicians and being in a band and being in the band scene, a lot of time it's ego, and people don't want to include you. So it's like, oh, you're not good enough guitar player. Like, who? I would never play with that
Yeah,
guy.
don't mess with my vibe type of thing.
Yeah, and so Mike was the exact opposite of that. Like literally, if you have never played a show in your life and you've just been playing guitar for 6 months, and he'd come up to you and say, "Oh, you're a guitar player, huh? Oh yeah, I've been playing for a few months. You go jump up on stage tonight. We're gonna, do a couple songs." Oh, I don't know. I can't play those. Hey, don't worry about it. Just get up on stage and play. You'll be fine. There's only 15 guitar players, 50 bass players, 3 drummers. Like everybody's playing. Like it's just a big collective. So the way that we structured our set was that we were going to play 4 songs with like the full band. And when I say full band, there's like 8 of us. There's 2 bass players, three guitar players, multiple singers switching around songs and drummer. And then that would end, and then it would turn into an acoustic set with generally the same people, but I'm not part of the acoustic set. I didn't want to be part of the acoustic set. Again, this is a family thing, and the family's so big. I want those guys to be on stage. I'm just here to back you guys up.
Right.
And then after that acoustic set, we would all get back up on stage again and play another 4 songs, ending with Freebird and doing the whole thing, right? But there's other bands playing. So as the show's coming up, I'm asking, like, well, when are we going on stage? I said, well, we'll get on stage about 8. So in my head, I'm thinking this. We're going to do the first 4 songs, and, we'll probably get off stage about 8:45, and then they'll do their acoustic set, probably get back on stage about, say, 9:15 to 9:30, and then we'll play our songs. I'll be done by about 10 at the latest, right? And so that's what I'm thinking in my head. So that's fine. I'll get at the venue about 7:15, get up on stage. I'll be out by 10:30ish, 10:45ish. So I get a call a couple days before, like, well, you got to come down and do sound check. And I'm like, okay, when's that? 1:30 in the afternoon. And I'm like, 1:30 in the afternoon? Fuck, I don't want to go down there. Okay, well, I'll go down there and I'll do sound check. And sound check typically takes maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, something, and I'll get there at 1:30, be done by about, let's say, 2:15, 2:30 at the latest, and then I can go home, and then I'll just come back at 7:30, and I don't have to, I'm not going to be down there for, from 1:30 until this ends. So you get down at sound check, and everything is moving so fucking slow, and they're miking things, and they're dicking around, and the venue's just opening up, so they're kind of getting everything ready. And it's 1:30 and it's 2:30. We haven't even gotten on stage to do sound check yet, and I'm just sitting there talking with a bunch of people, and I'm just looking like, fuck, dude, when are we gonna do this? 3 hits, 3:30 hits, finally get on stage to do sound check. And if you've ever done sound check, I waited, this is what this life is like. It's a lot of hurry up and wait,
right? And
we're sitting around for literally over 2 hours just to go on stage, and it's like, and some guy, you can't see him, he's in a sound booth in the back of the venue, and just comes over to Mike. He's like, okay, drummer, hit your snare, and they're like adjusting, they're doing all this, and it's like goes around the horn, and it's like, okay, guitar player 2, start playing, and I just start playing something, probably play for like 30 seconds. Okay, good, thanks. Next part, right, and that's it, you're done. Right? So you wait 2 hours to basically be on stage for about maybe 5-10 minutes as everybody's doing their sound check. And you play a song, you just start playing maybe 30 seconds of a song altogether. You're good. We're fine. Get off stage. But now at this point, it's 4 o'clock. I live on the other side of town. And I'm thinking, like, I could leave now and go home, but it's going to take me, 40 minutes to get home. And that's going to be like 5:30. And then what? I'm going to be at home for 45 minutes just to get back in my car and drive
all the way back.
So now I'm stuck on this side of town. So I'm like, well, I don't want to hang out here. I took off and I went to, it's funny, I'm like, I don't want to hang out at a bar. So I took off and drove down the street to a different bar. And of course, I don't want to drink. I gotta play a show. So I have a beer and I'm just hanging out and talking with some friends. And, the time comes, I got to go back. So I go back to the venue, and, the show's starting, and, the first band goes up and they're playing, and you're just sitting around waiting. And then I start drinking. I'm like, I'm going to drink. And eventually about 8 o'clock hits, or it's getting close to 8 o'clock. And I asked my friend Josh, I asked him, his bass player, I'm like, so wait, so we're going to do our set, acoustic, and then, right? And how we're going to do it. And he's just like, yeah, he goes, but I think, Mike's son, Mike Jr., is going to get on stage, and he's going to play his set in between. And I'm like, ooh, shit, this is going to add probably at least another half hour, 45 minutes. So now I'm not getting out at 10:45. Now I'm getting out probably more like 11:30. I'm like, shit, okay, well, whatever, it's fine. And then he goes, oh, and also Colton is going to do a song or two with this girl Kenzie Rose. She's a brilliant singer. She was on American Idol. At least she I think she made the TV audition rounds. I don't think she got much past that. And so like, oh, he's gonna do a song or two with her. And I'm like, okay, that's gonna add another half hour. And he's gonna probably do his own songs, just him by himself. I'm like, ah, shit. So I'm realizing the gap between when we first get on stage is not just, you know, that one little acoustic set that the band was going to do. Now it's adding Mike's set, and it's going to add Kenzie and Colton's set. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be here so late. So I hate to, I wasn't necessarily in a negative space. It was just like, I've been there since 1:30. Mm-hmm. So this idea of me like showing up at 7 and getting out at 10:45.
Like 11 hours.
Yeah,
of your
now
day.
I've been there, you know, for about 7 hours now. And so we get on stage, we do our first set, cool, get off stage, and everybody's doing, you know, Mike gets up there and plays, and Colton and Kenzie, and they're doing all that stuff. And now it's pushing, it's, you know, like pushing 10:45 and 11 o'clock, and we haven't even gotten on stage yet. And and at this point, I'm actually I now start to turn into the opposite. Now I'm psyched up because the songs we're going to do are songs I really like, and then we're going to end it with Freebird. Now I'm pumped. The whole night I'm just like I'm not saying I was in a negative space. It's just like it's a grind. But now I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. I'm down. We're going to finish this out. We're going to finish strong. I can't wait to play these songs. So get up on stage, and Colton comes over to me and goes, hey, guys, we're just going to do Freebird. Just Freebird, and we're done. And I'm like, what? I'm ready to go here. Right? And he's like, well, there's an ambulance outside. Somebody passed out. Something happened to somebody in the audience, and they had to bring an ambulance. And because of that, the guy who owns the venue was like, okay, we got to, you know, wrap this thing up. And so, of course, at the time, I decided I'm really pumped to do this. Is like, oh, we're not going to do it. And I'm like, fuck.
That's the way life goes, right?
Yeah.
You can have all the great intentions, and you can be super psyched, and you're ready, you're prepped, you're primed, guitar in hand, and on stage, and then get waved off.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a great show. It was a great, you know, memorial to Mike. I say he's a great guy, and you know, rest in peace, man. He was just a dude that welcomed everybody into his circle and his family, and to the music. He's just a man that was purely in love with music, and anybody that could experience it, whether it was in the audience or on stage, he was just all about like, come in and watch it. What you want to play? Get up on stage. Let's do this.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's extremely, extremely rare attitude to have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think, because I think most musicians, especially when they're in a band, and this was a loose-knit band of family members, and they played mostly covers, and so it had that freewheel kind of feel to it. Like, basically, it felt like anybody could just join the band at any point and just play, whether it was long-term, short-term, one-off, it didn't matter. Right. And so it had that kind of feel, but most bands would not be okay with this because it's always going to be a concern about like, well, we have a certain set and we played a certain way and everybody has their certain parts and timing. We want to make sure it sounds tight. We don't want to sound sloppy or like we don't know where. Mike couldn't give a fuck about that. He just get up on stage. He felt like, well, there's enough competent musicians on here that even if we had a couple of musicians that weren't particularly competent, it wouldn't make a difference anyways. We're going to kill it either way.
And it's like very Grateful Dead of him.
Oh, God, yeah. Totally. Yeah. So it was fun. I had a good time.
Eternal jam session. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good dude.
I kind of want to hear your story about the Hacienda. How did your Saturday go?
So, I'll reshare the story. So there's an amazing, we're located in the thriving megapolis of Fresno, California, and there is a really spectacular Mexican restaurant in town called Hacienda Tequila, and it is exactly what you think it would be. It's, I think what makes it different from normal like Mexican cuisine is the owner and the cooks are from farther down in Mexico, like almost Central America. So it's very different than burritos and tacos and that kind of deal.
Sure.
And the servers are amazing. And the owner, his name is Carlos, super rad dude, and he's very welcoming. He's an amazing host. Like, say if you were to walk through the door, and he sees you and he knows you, it'd be like, Joe, my friend, tequila.
Yeah.
And being such a great host, it's like he actually brings you tequila, and you might not be in a tequila drinking mood, but you definitely can't be rude. So even if you're not there in a drinking mode, You will be drinking.
Well, I mean, if a guy came up to me like that and he's that gracious and, he wants to get down, he seems like he wants to have a shot.
Of course. Yeah.
Then you just put me in the mood. I'm down.
100%. And then like any great, no great story ever started with a salad.
That's right. That's
Right?
yeah, right. That's a very famous quote. No great story started with, well, we had a salad.
No, exactly. So I think the story I was sharing with you is I knew that we had Ubered there, so I wasn't driving, wasn't going to be operating heavy machinery or anything like that.
And you had no real responsibilities the next day.
The next day I'm cool. And their margaritas are basically the size of a fish bowl.
Yeah.
And I think that there needs to be like a consumer warning at the bottom. Like you can't have 2 of these because I want to say there's 4 shots in each. And when
don't let the smooth taste fool you.
No, it's definitely a one-hitter quitter. That's for sure.
So wait, there's 4 shots in one of these margaritas.
Yeah.
Oh God, that is a lot of booze.
Right. We go there very regularly, and so the staff. I mean, a lot of times they don't even give us menus. They're just be like, "Hey Joe, are you drinking today or no?" And if I say no, they know that I'm drinking Sprite. And if I say yes, then they know exactly what my order is.
Right.
It's going to be a large margarita, Dos Equis on the side, and a shot. Well, anyway, so towards the end of the night, I kind of felt self-conscious because there's shot glasses that I was just lining up at the edge of the table because when Carlos comes over and he says, "My friend, tequila," well, we're going to do that.
Yes.
And we're going to do it again and maybe again. And maybe again, to the point that I right before the Uber came to pick us up, and I needed to go wash my hands. I was walking down the hallway, and I was leaning to. My body said to go right. I purposely leaned to the left and let my mind split the difference, so it looked like I was walking in a straight line.
Yeah, I always tell people when you're drunk and you need to pick up something or to punch something, aim for the one in the middle.
Yes. Your success rate should be 100%. But the best part is like I'm in that state of mind where I'm leaning left, headed right, going down the middle, and then Carlos is sitting at the counter and he sees me coming and he's like, "My friend, tequila," and all I'm thinking is, man, I'm really messed up.
Yeah.
But I'm also, he's such a gracious host and they're so awesome and warm and welcoming there that, again, I'm not driving. The funny thing, though, is the next day, Cookie was like, "Do you remember coming home, sitting, walking in the doors, heading straight to the couch, turning on your music at full volume and drunk shopping on eBay?" And like, I have no recollection.
Wow.
Senator.
Wow.
Did I get anything fun or cool?
Well, it's like your own personal special Christmas because you just start receiving packages in the mail and well, what's this? Surprise!
Actually, it happened today. I got a notification, eBay delivery. I'm like, I don't remember buying anything on eBay, but let's see what kind of magic I was able to unveil.
Right, that's awesome. What was it?
There's actually a T-shirt that I collect, and it's pretty rare. It's a vintage Supreme T-shirt, and I try and find them in mint condition, and apparently I went on quite the tear, and I found multiples, and apparently I bought all of them.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's what MasterCard said.
Oh, my Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Leave a like on the video. I know you're enjoying this. Can you shut up?
The internet's answer to a question that was never asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
I'm trying to think if I've ever drunk shopped before like that. I don't know if it's my constitution. I rarely black out, even if I drink excessively. There might be parts of the evening I don't recall 100%, but full on don't remember what I did after
Oh, that's rare. Yeah, that's rare.
But I think, and I'm not saying like you blacked out completely like that, but I think when I don't remember something, it's generally the mundane parts of that evening. So
Yes.
let's say I we go from a bar, we're going to walk to somebody's house. And let's say for whatever reason, I'm just making something up, like play video games, right? I would remember the video game part I wouldn't necessarily always remember the walk. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
understand
So
that.
to me, shopping would fall into something. It's not mundane enough. Like I would remember the next day. Like I went on eBay and I bought this or that. Now my recollection of it would be fuzzy, but I would still remember it. I don't think I would ever have a situation where it's like, man, last night, dude, you went out and you bought this and that. I'd be like, what? I don't remember doing that. I would remember that stuff, even regardless of how drunk I've been. That could mean two things. One, I have a constitution that just doesn't allow me to black out like that, or I just don't drink to that excess. I feel like I have before. So,
Right.
But yeah.
Well, the example too was the next morning, Cookie, he's like, did you have fun talking to the Uber driver last night? And I'm like, I remember saying a lot of things. I don't remember him responding very much. And she's like, exactly. He didn't speak English. You were having a one-way conversation with yourself.
Now, see, something like that, somebody would remind me, and then it would come, oh, yeah, that's right. I did
That's
talk
exactly
about
what
that.
happened.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, yeah. I totally remember that.
yeah. So stuff like that, I think I would definitely, I guess you would call it blackout because I wouldn't remember it unless somebody reminded me of it. I'm like, oh, that's right. And that's actually happened a couple of times where I've had a conversation, talked to somebody about something, and then, the next day I wouldn't remember it. And then somebody would bring it up and go like, oh, that's right. We had that conversation. Sometimes it could be quasi kind of like, oh, we should go play golf or something. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm down. And I'm totally down to do it. And even after somebody reminds me that I had that conversation, I'm still down to do it. I wouldn't have remembered if somebody didn't maybe remind me like, hey, remember what? Oh, that's right. Yeah, we had that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's funny. I mean, this is my part of this episode was definitely not about drinking, but you just hit on something that's, I've never asked you this question. Some people, well, not some people, everyone, when you're drinking, you kind of fall in one of a couple buckets. You either get super chatty, you are really funny, like on the hilarity side. Some people get really quiet, some people get sleepy, some people get angry, some people get dark.
Oh man.
Yeah, so those last couple that I rattled off, I don't hang around with those people.
Yeah. Some people get obnoxious.
Yes.
Not violent, just obnoxious.
Yeah, it's just or inappropriate, and it's just What bucket are you in when you're in that frame of mind?
Well, it's a good question. I like this question. I've had this conversation with a number of people, and even younger people. I've had this conversation. Even with seniors in school, where I've had this conversation about, the trickery of drinking and why adults don't like, kids drinking, even though adults do it. And there's always the default, which is, well, I'm an adult, you're a minor, you can't, do these things. And I always tell the kids, I'm like, there's a fear coming from adults that when you start drinking, there's a couple of routes it can take. One, it can just be, I did it once and I didn't like it, never did it again, all to full-blown alcoholic. That will destroy your life. And we don't know which one you're going to be. And alcohol in particular, it's readily available, it's socially acceptable, and everybody at some point in their life likely will have a drink. Like, even if you're at an office party and, somebody's gonna give you a glass of wine. And alcohol is the one drug that is really unpredictable with how people are going to behave on it. And I don't know if this is ever really discussed amongst, people about addiction and the effects of drugs. And alcohol is a drug.
Yes.
They say drugs and alcohol, whatever. Yeah. Everyone that gets high pretty much acts in a very similar fashion, right? I don't know if there's known cases of like, when that dude smokes, he gets super violent. And that dude smokes, he gets super funny. And that dude smokes, he gets super tired. Pretty much everybody ends up in the same kind of,
Correct.
Frame of mind. And the same could be said for things like, cocaine or meth. It's the other direction. You want all the crazy paranoia, violence. That's those drugs, right? Alcohol, it is completely unpredictable, and it's based on the person. And it's got to be the scariest thing to approach in terms of addiction and use, and whether it's social or not, whatever the situation is that we honestly don't know who you're going to be. And if you find yourself developing a problem with it, then we got to deal with not only the problem, but the person you become when you do those things. I think it's just, I guess you're born with whatever genes, and alcohol affects everyone differently to a certain degree. And you could be a violent drunk, you could be a lushy drunk, you could be a funny drunk, you could be the obnoxious, whatever it is. Now, for me, when I drink, I go through a series of waves. It always starts out kind of the same way. I become way more sociable. But again, I'm a teacher. I'm already kind of a talker, so it just makes me more of that. Like I'm always yapping about something. I become very friendly. I'm always in a good mood, and I'm generally in a good mood most of the time. I rarely get depressed. I rarely ever get into any dark spaces. I'm always on the positive side. So when I drink, I'm kind of like that, but it can quickly turn into me becoming extremely tired. So I become very much a lush. And if I have one too many, suddenly I will start to just get real quiet, and I just sit there and I'm just like, I want to go to bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never gotten violent on alcohol. I've never gotten inappropriate on alcohol. And I say that in terms of like what everybody would universally consider inappropriate.
Sure.
I've probably said crazy stuff or whatever and just goofing off, but like seriously inappropriate shit. Nah. I don't think I'm obnoxious, and I know for a fact I'm not. I've never, I always tell people that you can tell when somebody has crossed over into the obnoxious drunk is they will constantly demand your attention. Hey, and they'll tell you a story, right? And then you can tell it'll get worse is when they tell you that story, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, hey, and they tell you the same fucking story again. Yeah. So I've never done anything like that. But again, when I'm talking, like, I don't think I've ever really blacked out. I think that I've always been a person that is heavily aware of my surroundings. I've always been a person that I think probably overthinks a lot of things, even just in general situations. I'm always thinking about what's going on, who's saying what's going, where people are standing, and what the flavor is. Reading the room has always been something I've done, and I think it doesn't change when I drink. I'm always aware of like, where am I? What am I saying? What am I doing? Even if I have like a weird thought in my head, like, oh, that'd be cool to do that right now, or say that, immediately I'm going to be like, oh, come on, man, you ain't doing that shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think I always try to maintain a sense of reality. I'm not a person that can let go. And I think that there are people out there who, when they experience drugs, they're able to let go, and they just become another person. And I think that's when you start running into those problems.
Right.
I remember one time I did LSD, I think 3 or 4 times in my life. And the first time I did it, I remember having a good time. The second time I did it, I remember not having as good of a time. The third time I did it, I remember this specifically, I didn't like it. And I realized that I couldn't let go. Like I just couldn't run through the trees in the forest and, just completely remove myself from reality.
Right.
I was always like, where am I? What's going on? Who's that? Right. I think those kind of drugs in particular, that's what makes it a shitty trip, is that you're supposed to let go. And after that, I did it one more time to actually kind of confirm exactly what was going on with me. And I'm glad it was only one more time. That's one drug you do not want to do regularly. You'll be brain dead in a couple of years.
Right.
So, yeah, I realized I think I'm just the type of person, no matter what drug I was doing, and whether it was, any kind of hard drug, soft drug, or alcohol, I'm always in that mindset of trying to stay in some realm of reality. Even though I know I'm trashed out of my mind on alcohol, I'm not that kind of guy that's just going to let go and, be dancing on the tables and shit. That's just not going to happen. I always try to be aware of what's going on around me.
Yes, agreed. I've never lost control, and I'd say if I was to put myself in one of those buckets, I've been told I am a very good listener and a pretty good storyteller. I think when I'm in that frame of mind, I'm an even better listener. And I'm certainly always aware of my surroundings. And yeah, I've never done anything or even thought of doing something inappropriate. I would say if there's people that are more of like the wallflower type, I'm a social animal, but I'm a lot more social, and I'll definitely approach those people and include them in the greater conversation that's happening and whatnot. But I'm very much in control of my faculties, even though I might be like leaning right, mine's going left, and I'm trying to buzz right down the middle of whatever it is.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I definitely clarify is that, I'm certainly not saying I'm sober or I'm,
Oh, of course. No, that wasn't the question. Yeah.
But some people might see it that way, like, oh, like, you think that, like you're still like there. And no, I'm not. I'm completely in the realm of being, tanked on booze, but I'm aware of what's going on around me.
And you're still handling yourself with a modicum of civility.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And again, it's just my personality. It's always been that way long before I started, fucking around with, alcohol and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. So when at that restaurant, like, how many shots did you ultimately end up doing?
12.
Wow. God damn.
Well, it's one of those that's not at one time, all right? That's over a period of time.
Well, yeah, but everybody's different. I can't even come close to doing 12 shots.
It's, like I say, I wasn't operating heavy machinery, and apparently I was raging on eBay afterwards. But it's, the food is great. The service is wonderful. I am a raving fan. It is truly one of the Central Valley's hidden gems.
Yeah. And we're going Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Sunday at 12 o'clock or 12:15.
Monster truck rally happening in the big city of Fresno.
Yeah, my first thought when I was going, obviously I'm having some tequila, and I'm not a super big tequila drinker. I don't dislike it. I just don't order it unless everybody else is ordering it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's tequila is. I'm a huge fan of tequila and mezcal, but that is a definite time and place. You don't go to your niece's eighth birthday party at your cousin's house and fire up a couple shots of tequila.
I know that's more of a whiskey event.
Right? Time and place. But it's one of those, when in Rome, man. If you're going to Hacienda Tequila to have lunch or dinner, you're having tequila. It's literally in the name of the place that you're at.
Yeah, I mean, typically if I get a shot, it's always whiskey, and I'm not a big shot person, hard liquor person. But I think there's a lot of times when I go out that I don't feel like I have a ton of time. I'm not going to stay there for 5-6 hours and drink 5 or 6 beers and kind of go through the whole kind of process of, catching a buzz, having a good time. And it's like I'm going to be here for maybe 2-3 hours at most. And I'll usually, if I do that, I'll go and I'll get a shot and a beer right out the gate. Usually a shot of whiskey and a Guinness. Guinness is my favorite beer. I feel like if I have to take a shot, you would take whiskey. I don't think there's another hard liquor you would take with that. And that's just to prime myself, basically, a shot and a beer. And the time you take that shot and drink that beer, it's about 45 minutes before I would need another beer. And I'd have another beer, and that's going to take another, 45 minutes to drink that. And then by the time I've had 3 drinks, I'm good. I'm done. And I've spent, an hour to 2 hours,
Yeah, hanging out, having a good time. Yeah, for sure.
So that's the one time I'll usually take shots. The only other time I take shots is, I think, in the situation you're talking about, where people, you walk in, and I frequent enough places that people know me, and you walk in, like, hey, everyone's like, oh man, what's going on? And next thing you know, they're like, hey, get around right here,
right here, yeah.
And I'll do it then.
Hook a brother up.
Yeah, I'll do it then. But going out of my way to take a shot, the only time I'll do that is that first beer and a shot. I'll do that.
Well, I didn't plan on us having this podcast episode about being rock stars and drinking alcohol, but I have a great question for you.
Go ahead.
One of the
I just didn't know what other story to ask you about. You may have had something else to talk about.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I think it's part of the human experience, and it's one of those things.
It seemed to fit in the theme. Like, what'd you do that Saturday night, that show? Oh, this is my show. What'd you do that Saturday?
I say you were literally rocking out, and
you were rocking out too.
I was doing my same in my own lane.
Yeah, you were doing it too.
And it's all about being responsible. You're in a controlled environment. I'm hanging out with my wife. We're having a great time, and then we go home. It's not. Yeah, the level might have been a little excessive that night, but I mean that's.
Oh man, we all do that.
All of the boundaries are already in place. But here's the question.
Okay, go ahead.
And we don't need to go off on long stories, but because we're talking about drinking, the worst game to ever play is the game of catch-up.
I don't know that game.
It's where, so say you're late, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You're supposed to meet a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You've been delayed, whatever it is.
Right.
They've been hanging out for the last hour, 2 hours, having a great time.
Yeah.
And and you walk in the door, and they are on a different level than you are.
Yeah.
And you want to try and get to that level as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, it's usually a bad idea.
It's a terrible idea.
It's a bad idea.
That is the worst idea.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that get too drunk, especially people that don't normally drink heavy, you get caught into that kind of tornado. And you don't realize it until it's too late. A game of catch-up can definitely do that.
That is like the maelstrom effect on your brain.
Yeah, I don't know this. We are the fountain of misinformation. It's not like we did any research. But yeah, I think, let's say you're going to drink, let's say on a given night from beginning to end, however long that is, say it's 7 drinks, right? That would be your entire evening. And that could be 1 in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night, or from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And I think there's maybe an assumption that like all alcohol is equal. I'm drinking this much alcohol, 7 drinks. So I would be just as drunk one way or the other. And obviously it's not true. Your body metabolizes it in certain ways. So I think the game of catch up is where people get caught because they think like, well, these people have had 2, maybe 3 drinks. So I'll quickly do a shot, maybe 2 shots, and have a drink, and I'll catch up to them, not realizing that normally you would have those 3 drinks over the span of 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, whatever that would be. And you wouldn't nearly be as drunk as you're about to be. And now you've quote unquote caught up to them, and they're still hanging out. They drink their drinks over a longer span. You crammed a bunch in a short period of time. And I think if you continue to drink, even though you might end up drinking the same amount you would have drank normally over a long period of time, you're going to be way, way more wasted.
Yes.
And you think like I don't understand. I only had like 5 drinks. It was like, yeah, but you pounded 3 of them within the span of 15, 20, 30 minutes. What the fuck? I mean, I guess.
And you're wondering why the cops showed up.
Right. Yeah, right. So yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I've done that a couple of times, and I still might be prone to do it in my own way. Like I've shown up to my local hangouts at 9:30, 10 o'clock on a Friday, and everybody's been there since 7 o'clock, and so they're lit for the most part. And I might go like, yeah, give me a shot. Like I'll launch it with a shot because I kind of want to catch up. But yeah, catch up to them? No. Let me just get into the game.
Yes, exactly.
A little bit faster than I normally would.
Coach, put me in.
Yeah, just get me in the game a little bit faster. Certainly not going to be throwing down 3 or 4 shots or pounding beers so I can catch up to these people. That would be stupid because you're just going to get wasted and you're going to get sick.
And you're going to hate your life the next day.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But again,
nothing worse than a hangover.
No great story started with a salad.
No great story ever started with a salad.
And you wake up the next morning and you like roll over, grab your phone, and you, whatever reason, your camera app is open and you see all these pictures and you're like, I don't remember any of those.
Who are these people?
Where am I? Why am I missing my shoes in this picture? How did I get home last night?
Why am I wearing a dress? What the hell happened last night?
And that, my friends, is the rest of the story.
I have an important announcement for you, so stay tuned.
Yo, that's some next level shit, bruh. So you got me. Big deal.
The internet's answer to a question no one asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Folks, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I'm Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And tonight is football, and we're late. We need to go play catch-up.
Oh, my goodness. That's why there's a keg in the fridge, man. Let's do this thing.
Go Raiders.